This tutorial explains the three types of interaction effects and what implications they have for the main effects. The starting point is an observable interaction, and whether and how the main effects should be interpreted. This explanation covers the most common so-called two-way interaction, that is, two interacting factors. For example, within the context of a two-way ANOVA or a multiple regression with an interaction effect. For simplicity, it is assumed that 1. The first factor, motivation, has two levels, low and high. And 2. The second factor, intelligence, also has two levels, low and high. Fundamentally, one would expect that higher intelligence leads to a better score. At the same time, higher motivated individuals should also perform better. If both come together, that is, high intelligence and high motivation, an even higher score should be observed. This is called interaction. Or, put differently, the positive influence of high intelligence on the test result is reinforced by high motivation. Or conversely, high motivation leads to a better test result when intelligence is high. Mathematically, both result in the same statistical model. Now that the basics have been established, we will discuss the three types of interaction effects. The first type of interaction effect, the ordinal interaction, allows for what is called the global interpretation of both factors, sometimes also referred to as main effects. In this case, with the increase of one of the two factors, the score increases or decreases regardless of the other factor and its levels. Here it is evident that for the relationship between motivation on the x-axis and score on the y-axis, both lines point in the same direction for both high and low IQ. At the same time, with an increase in the other factor, the score increases or decreases. In this example, a higher IQ results in a higher score. In such a case, in addition to the interaction effect, the main effects can be interpreted globally, assuming sufficiently small p-values exist. In summary, a global interpretation of the main effects is possible with an ordinal interaction in the following three scenarios. 1. All lines in both diagrams are ascending. 2. All lines in both diagrams are descending. Or 3. In one diagram all lines are descending, while in the other all lines are ascending. The second type of interaction effect is the hybrid interaction. The name already reveals its nature. In only one of the two diagrams, the lines point in the same direction. As previously mentioned, IQ shows a positive effect on the score across all levels of motivation. However, in the second diagram, higher motivation with a high IQ results in a higher score, whereas higher motivation with a low IQ leads to a lower score. Consequently, the global effect of motivation is not interpretable because the relationship with the score varies depending on the IQ. In summary, a global interpretation of the main effects is only possible for the factor that shows a consistent relationship to the dependent variable regardless of the other factor. In other words, only in the diagram where all the lines point in the same direction allows for a global interpretation of that main effect, assuming sufficiently small p-values. Finally, the third type of interaction effect is the disordinal interaction, in which the lines in both diagrams point in opposite directions each. This can be explained rather briefly. For example, with increasing IQ, at low motivation there is a decrease in score, and at high motivation there is an increase in score. Similarly, high motivation with a high IQ results in a higher score, whereas high motivation with a low IQ leads to a lower score. Both diagrams show lines with different directions respectively. They may, but do not necessarily intersect, only the direction is to be considered. In such a case, no main effect can be interpreted globally, as the direct dependence on the other factor plays a role. In summary, the type of interaction reveals whether I can interpret the main effects globally. The focus should be on the direction of the lines in the respective diagrams.